everyone? How y'all doing tonight? We kind of late today. We said 8:30, but we're running a little late. But nevertheless, we're back again with a very hot topic right now. And today I have on the live stream, I have Crystal from Black Empowerment. She's out in the Atlanta area. Uh, so I know y'all see the title, today. Well, not today, but tonight we'll be talking about the Biden administration talks about giving 450,000 per person to immigrants that was separated at the border during the Trump administration. So we're gonna be talking about that. I think a lot of people are talking about that, and we're gonna delve into that topic as well about that. But before we do that, let's do some house cleaning. Some of you guys may be watching live, you may be watching later, but always keep in mind, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe. If you already subscribed, please, go through the channel, share, like some videos. It'll help the channel grow. It'll most definitely help the channel grow. So we still a small channel, but growing fast. So that favor and subscribe, like, share, do all that good stuff. But Crystal, this is your first time on live with us. Tell us a little bit about yourself, the people, and your background. You got it.
Well, my background, let's see. I'm just a regular smojo. I'm just joking. No, I'm a wife and a mother. Ole Miss graduate, hotty toddy. And then also belong to Black Empowerment Movement. We have a chapter out here in Atlanta too. So if you're watching and want to get plugged in, if you're in Georgia, hit us down there. And also hit us up on Instagram. And as you see, share, like, subscribe. And right now, that's about all I'm doing.
All right. So let's get into this. Like, I'm going to be honest. When I first saw people talking about this, I kind of thought it wasn't real. I thought it was like one of those factual lies type memes that was going around. Like, there's no way this is true. And then I kept seeing more people posting articles. I said, let me just click the article and just read this shit. And it's real. I was like, oh my God. I just thought it was some made up shit. Like, what was your reaction when you first saw it?
So that's real sad that was my reaction too. So I definitely had to go ahead. I always have to verify. I have to verify because I know people are going to do clickbait. We live in the era of clickbait. So I was like, let me verify. Let me Google. I don't need nobody telling me. Let me Google myself. And yes, it is. It's real. This is real.
It was real.
And everything. It seems like, you thought it would be, but it's not. 450 is definitely on the table right now.
Yeah, and I was looking at an article, and I think I have it pulled up now. They were talking about it's a total of 5,500 kids that was separated at the border. So we at least looking at 6,000 people. I don't know, you have a calculator out, but that's a lot of goddamn money. 6,000. You got about $450,000 going to like 6,000 people. That's a lot of money.
Yes, now they have at least 940 families who have filed a claim. I do know that. So just remember on average how many people per family, but 940 families have applied and filed a claim for this.
And those numbers about to go up. Those numbers are about to skyrocket.
They are about to skyrocket. They are about to skyrocket.
So,
and just so people know too, this is from the 2017-2018 Trump administration as far as the claim that they'll be filing for and everything. Like, it's from that as far as the treatment and separation that happened during that time with the families.
In your opinion, like, what do you think is the reason behind this? Like, we always hear about people say, hey, you can't sue the government on anything regarding policy. You just can't really sue them. But now the government is being sued and they actually talking about giving money out just like with no resistance or anything. Like, what is this coming from in your opinion?
Um, honestly, to me, it wouldn't only be the Trump administration. It would actually be them repenting for the Obama administration too.
Hmm.
Because if we're being honest and everything, the treatment went for like a long time and everything. But I think that's 1 year that they can like critically pinpoint. But I guess with like the influence of social media, the influence of like just the culture and the presence, that finding the loopholes to be able to do this in our government in this time, I think, someone was able to find it, like, so that they could be able to file this claim, and where this is on the table and they're in negotiations for the 450 and everything. Do I personally think it'll be that much? I don't know, but I definitely know that, and we all know they are in negotiations for it.
I think it came down. I heard someone else talk about this, but it kind of makes sense. They were like, they doing all these things because I think the census came out that show a decline in like the white population, and uh, someone, it's a theory that they're trying to boost their whiteness of people that consider themselves white in this country. And we do know it has been shown that a lot of people of that origin, Hispanic, Latinx, a lot of those people, when they fill out a census, they fill out as they're they they're white, you know. So I
Right.
think that's one uh thing. And let's just be honest, the government has always tried to me it seemed like they always try to bring people in to be on their side. Like, is it long as hurting the black people, or they could be doing this to put this group of people against black folks? Like, that's, hey, we're gonna reward this group of people, and we just trying to do whatever we can to make the black group of people go further and further down the social economic ladder. You have any theories on that, or I'm just, you like, man, I ain't never heard that shit.
I mean, I wouldn't say, I've never heard it. And so I won't say that it can't be a, one of the possibilities that helped put this together. So I could see that, and like sort of a part of it and
Yeah.
everything. I think, especially like I said, if we're looking from 2017, 2018, and we're in 2021 now, that means they would have had to, put like a couple years and everything in, and like
Yeah.
developing for this claim that they would file. So yeah,
And
I
then and then this may be a pro too. I just thought about it. This just hit me up. This just came to me. The election's coming up, right?
yes,
And black folks ain't really rocking with the Democratic Party right now. So
yeah,
this could be a ploy to replace the black vote as well. Like,
and
not
that's
saying
true.
that the people that getting the money will be able to vote in the next election, but it does look like to the Hispanic community that's able to vote,
Right.
or will be able to vote in the next few years, they may look at that like, okay, we need to vote Democrat. So this could be
They would
a
take it
way
as
to
a,
replace the black vote.
and that's very serious. I wouldn't even disagree with you, because as a person who has voted Democrat in the past, the question mark for the upcoming years is literally up in debate on like if, you know, voting Democrat would even be a possibility
Yeah,
anymore. So I could definitely see that theory a lot, playing out.
yeah. I think my last time I just voted truly just all Democrat was that first Obama, when Obama first ran. That's when that was 2008, right? Yeah, 2008, I believe. I voted for Obama, and I was like, this guy seems like he's really about that
Right.
life. And then just off the strength that he was running as a black president, I was like, there's no way I can't vote for him.
I can't vote for
I was
him.
like,
Yeah.
I feel guilty. I couldn't. I like, okay, I voted. But after that first time going around, I didn't even vote. I didn't even vote. I
So
just stayed out of voting. Period. I was so disappointed because I had so much like high hopes for him, and then he's even like during his first administration, he got to talking about he couldn't do this, he couldn't do that, and
Right.
I was like, I said I'm just gonna sit out. Then he ran the second time and won.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is your last term. You can go balls to the wall and do whatever you really want to. If you, especially with executive orders.
Yeah.
I mean, only thing he did, and I'm not hating that he did some stuff for the alphabet community, which is fine. You know, they worked hard to and lobby to get things for them, so I can't hate on that, which is good for them. But as the masses of a collective group of black people, that didn't really benefit us as a larger group. Um, so yeah, I definitely was done after sitting out watching. So um, and I think a lot of people are getting to that point now, though. Like you said, like you just expressed how you felt now. You was like, I don't know now. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And and they not stupid. They
No.
see and hear people like you and like, we gotta replace those folks.
Yeah. And not saying that I wouldn't vote for like a different, candidacy, but I'm just not sold on voting like a
Yeah.
Democratic standpoint. And I think they do know that. And to the point that we were just talking about, with them knowing that and knowing that, now they're going towards certain groups. Do you find it like suspicious that these certain groups now are getting, as you know, most people feel like they're getting more things done than we are in the years that it has taken us versus the years for immigration, and how this bill had even in our domestic policy, it's $100 billion reserved for immigration and everything. So do you feel like, what can we do almost? Anything.
Honestly, what we can do is just not vote. Just don't give them the vote. Just sit out. Just sit out the election. That would send a warning shot to them, in my opinion. Like if a large enough group of black people just say, hey, Democrats, y'all didn't do nothing for us. Y'all just sat and did nothing, passing all these different bills that didn't benefit us. We just gonna sit back and hold our votes to ourselves and maybe just vote locally, and just not do anything for the presidential election or something like that, or your U.S. seats and all that type stuff. Just leave them votes void. We just voted on the local stuff. I think that'll send a big message to them because I think that more and more people are doing it, but like if enough people start to do it even more, that would send the warning shots to them like, okay, all right, we need to do something else because obviously this strategy of just promising them stuff and then not delivering it's not working anymore. I think that's a big deal. And then it's just I find it impossible for Democrats to win. They just
been winning in the next couple of years, honestly.
Even like you have a lot of black people that's in the medical field, and a lot of black people wasn't with getting I don't even want to say it because we're gonna be on YouTube, the jab.
I got
So
you.
yeah, so people wasn't with getting the jab. So
Right.
so black people lost their jobs. I know a lady out here, she was telling me like I quit. She was an RN. She like, I got let go from my job because I didn't want to get it. I was like, wow. So that's crazy. So I mean, actually,
yeah.
oh, I was about to say, why do you feel like other groups don't get any pushback from the government? Like if we would have came to the government with that same reason, say, hey, we trying to sue the U.S. government for we can think of a lot of reasons. Pain and suffering from X, Y, and Z they done did to us.
Yeah.
They first response won't be, okay, we're gonna write you a check for 250,000 for all the black people that suffer from this. That wouldn't have happened. So why you feel like that we get so much pushback that other groups don't get?
I mean, it's almost at this point, like you would say, just the history.
Yeah.
And so even, we'll always hear our great speeches of how far we've come. I will never make an argument with how far we've come. We all know in life we've come a long way. But because, in my opinion, we've had to come so long and everything, like I really feel like that almost plays an influence versus like, okay, even if you're talking about immigrants right now, like you're still talking about present time and everything, and as fact in like people's public opinion. When we talk about, if you're talking about reparations, just as an example, people are saying, oh, we're going too far back in the past. You know what I'm saying? And even though in us, to us it's like, I don't give a shit how far back we're going in the goddamn past. But just to be honest,
Exactly.
it's sad to say in today's time with how our culture is brewing and how we care about what's going on right now at this very moment, and within 24 hours nobody gives a shit anymore unless it's still trending news. You know what I'm saying? If we're just, if you really be honest about it, like most people are going to tell us what's our number one excuses that people come up with as soon as we start demanding what we are owed and everything. And even if you talk about relevant situations, they still feel like we're going to tie it to what? Going back and putting it and grouping it in and everything.
And truthfully, we don't even have to go back that far regarding things
and everything. But public opinion and like the pushback, and whether your person who's in the offices right now really want to take up that, coalition, that really becomes like a topic. People, it sounds good for the soundbite, it sounds good for the vote, but then when it comes to the actuality of putting it forth, it's like, because where's the money for the HBCUs? That everyone was talking about, everyone was riding on. Where's all these things that were being promised during election time?
Yeah.
Everyone. So it's easy to have it as a clickbait, is what I'm saying. But when it actually comes time for change, you're going to get more blowback because it becomes so many different elements versus immigration. They're going back to 2017 and everything. Still, even in any major outlet, if you're talking about anything to do with Black people and owing, even in the last 5, 10, 15 years from PTSD and things, they're still going to somehow find a way to wrap it up and tag in the past with it. So it still comes to a full circle of y'all just complaining, y'all just want more for nothing and everything. And I'm just saying that is just one example that people will use to keep it where it's easier to pass something for immigration. It's easier to pass something for, the Asian community with the pandemic.
They got the Asian hate bill.
But because that just happened. And even though we'll be like, oh, well, Black people are getting shut down, or mass incarceration is this. Oh, even still, you're talking about 1996, crack babies, do you see what I'm saying? Like, they're still going to find a way to make it seem like you're trying to drag shit on. Whereas this right now, I seen the clickbait, I seen the headline for this, I seen the headline for that. So it still makes it easy to warp that up. And something, oh, we can get that done, whatever. And it's sad to say, but to me, it's like, let's just be honest. That it's what happens. As soon as we start talking about what we need, what we want, our stuff always gets warped into something more. It never fails. It don't just get to be even the present. It's still going to get warped into something else. It's always going to be and that's what I mean about having that, how far we've come and everything. Like, even, oh yeah, we've come so far. But even in coming so far, when you're coming so far to prove you're equal, that means I wasn't there from the time you seen my face. So that's still like a hard, situation.
Yeah.
That we just pass over because we've come so far. But we came so far to fight for like an equality or whatever.
I think that I think it's a clear example that it should be a clear example to people that whether we just got to accept the fact that this government, for one, see us as, I don't know if it's subconsciously or intentionally or maybe both. They see us as at the end of the day, the overall internal enemy. That's why they can never have no sympathy for us. That's why they will go to the grave without giving us any type of reparations or publicly saying they were sorry for doing things in the past. We know we got slavery, we got red line, we got the hangings and the castrations and the things they did to men, women, and children. We got the crack. Basically, they had a whole chemical warfare on black folks. The government themselves supplied the crack cocaine to the black community. We got numerous things they have done to the black people. We should just wrap our heads around. They see us as the enemy. Whether they does it intentionally or not, they truly see us as the enemy. That's why they would never do anything for us unless we burn some shit down. That's when they're like, okay, we're ready to come to the table now. What are we talking about? Civil rights. I feel like the civil rights generation didn't ask for enough. Like, I think that was the perfect time where we actually had the government backs against the wall and they was ready to give us pretty much everything if we would have asked for it. We got to get back to that point where we got to bring them back to the table and then where they say, okay, what y'all want, which is not going to be easy, but we need to get back to that point where they willing to come to the table and offer everything. And not make that same mistake the civil rights generation made, or not the generation, but the people that was at the table made, per se.
And I agree, which is to be expected. Like, they made mistakes and stuff. And so one of my questions for you when it came to the 450K was, where is that money coming from? What is that money being tied into the proposed 100 billion that is reserved for the immigrants and like the policies for them? Or is this money supposed to be coming out a different way?
You know what? The articles I read did not say. It really didn't say.
Oh, I'm just making sure that we're saying the same thing. Okay.
Yeah. And you say how much is set aside? You said 100 billion?
Yes. I wrote down from that, the domestic policy with the 1.85 trillion that they're trying to pass. I know they have 100 billion set aside for immigration.
Well, I think it's additional money because this is a lawsuit. So that money set aside has nothing to do for this 450 per person, because this is an actual lawsuit. That's first of all, I don't know how illegal immigrants can get a lawyer anyway to sue the government. First, I'm like, you're not even a citizen, you suing the government to get money. So this
coalition. One coalition is behind them.
It's some type of coalition. Somebody put them together and got this class action suit going. So this got to be money.
ACLU. I know
the ACLU. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this got to be money coming from somewhere else. Addition to the money you're talking about is already set aside.
Right.
But that money that's set aside, ain't no telling what that money being really used for. Who knows where that money is going. My thing is, what I don't want to happen, that I think it will happen, it's gonna, at the end of the day, yes, I'm black first, but at the end of the day, when you fight against the system, you need a coalition of other groups of people to fight. So I feel like that was further divide us in our fight, because at the end of the day, we're gonna need the Latinx community. There are people that's fighting and organizing in the streets to fight against the system. And if they're getting money like that, they're not going to be as more willing, in my opinion, to continue to fight and all that stuff. They go in line with the government.
You think they really going to get 450? That's one of my questions too. Like, do you really genuinely, because I know they're in negotiation. And
Just think about it.
do
Just
they
think about it.
see what they brought to the table, or is that what their asking mark, has dropped to? So if
They
that's what
may
they brought
not
to
get
the table.
they may not get 450, but I think they'll get north of 100.
Mm-hmm.
And how bad Biden need votes coming up election, and I think they have a good pulse on the black vote. I think they know they're gonna lose some black votes, and they not gonna they already got it in their head they're gonna lose a lot of black votes, so they need to make it up somewhere else. So I can see it. It's like basically paying for votes on the low.
I know they said the end of November the decision should be made.
Yeah, so it's coming up very
Yeah.
soon, and black folks might well get ready to get teed off about it, because this is the wake up call for the people that didn't have a wake up call. This will be a wake up call for that group of people. Like, y'all see what's going on? They count black folks out. They bringing in the replacements. They bringing in like the scabs. Like, you go on a strike, they bring the scabs in. They bringing the scabs in. Like, they say, okay, we officially done with black folks. We don't want to do nothing for y'all, and we know y'all gonna get mad and not vote as much for us. So okay, we bringing the backup team now, because the stuff y'all asking for, we ain't down to do. And they know they not down to do it. They just been pacifying us as long as they could, drawing this out. Like, Trump was the perfect person, because that fool made it so easy. They're like, look at that clown. Like, look, like, you want to vote for that? Look, it was Trump. If he would have just act like a normal person, maybe, just maybe, because you still have that Republican word stamp over your head. It's already hard for black folks to even go that route, period. So then you acting a fool. You got these white wing people and doing crazy. It was like, I can, like, the average black person, I can truly understand why they wouldn't vote for Trump, because I be looking at the shit too and be like, if I didn't have like the little bit of political education I have, and I would not touch Trump either. So I know I be trolling a lot on social media, but I really understand why people wouldn't vote for Trump. I really do. Like, I get it. Like, I didn't even vote for Trump. I don't even want to put my cash for Trump. I just voted independent. I ain't got no blood on my hand either side. I'm just going independent.
Right.
So yeah, man.
Okay.
We'll see though.
I have one question though. Was like a little breakdown of a question.
Mm-hmm.
So, with saying that you feel like these upcoming elections that we shouldn't vote, and then also knowing that we're saying that they are using ways to get more votes from other groups of people, what constructive ways can we still effectively, push things forward and like take advantage of things while still, because at the end of the day, we're still, American citizens. So like, how can we still take advantage of like certain things? Like, I just want to see your opinion.
When you say take advantage of certain things, what you're talking about?
Well, like just certain things, like I said, like the loopholes, like how we know, like loopholes getting around tax, like paying your, how much in taxes. Like, we know millionaires and billionaires do. Just like example, like farming. Like, we know that they've been giving money to farming, like even during the pandemic. Like, positively being able as Black people to take advantage of that and everything with the resources that we do have, I guess I would say. Since we're saying like we're already establishing that they're not giving us per se individually our, what we deserve versus other groups, but like what constructive things can we do? Beside, like you said, with the not voting in elections, to show them that, we're serious about our voices being heard. But how at the same time can we constructively take advantage of things as a group and individuals and as a group, so that we can collectively still move, ourselves?
Well, I guess it comes down to overall, everyone getting on a one accord of like, okay, what nationally, of course, you're gonna have your state level and nationally. But if we talking nationally, because we talking about the Biden administration, we all need to just decide like, okay, nationally, what as a black community, what do we want? And that's kind of what Ice Cube was talking about. He was talking about the I forgot the name of it, but that plan he was presenting to Trump. We need to get something like that. Like, okay, this is a national black plan. This is what majority. This is what we need. This is what we suffering from. This is what we bring into the table as a group. And the majority of the group had came to the table and said, this is what we need. Whether that be, hey, we want reparations, whether it's be we don't want no taxes for black folks or black people being tax exempt, or we a number of things that we'll see on the national level that would benefit us. But I think it all start with, to me, land and financial means of things. Like, because at the end of the day, I feel like we need land and money. Because at the end of the day, I feel like the overall goal is we need to be trying to build some type of statehood, nationhood of the black community. Because at the end of the day, that we it's about getting freedom. Whatever, to me, that form of freedom is creating a black nation. What the Republic of New Africa was doing when they tried to when they created a constitution, and they based that constitution on having land within certain confines of North America. So we need land, we need financial freedom, whether that's in the form of reparation, being tax free, like you have Native American, what we call so-called Native Americans, they don't pay taxes. I don't believe we shouldn't be paying taxes after all the things we've been done. We should be tax free. We shouldn't have to pay federal and state taxes and stuff like that. We deserve some type of reparations, but whatever that may be, we need to all agree. Of course, not all, but the majority of us need to be on one accord with saying, yeah, this is what we need, and this is what affected us. But it won't start though. But it won't start till we withdraw those votes, because we're not even gonna get their attention if we keep voting. Period. Like, if we just going the route we going now, they just gonna keep going on with the pacifying us with symbolic gestures and statues and Black Lives Matter painted in the streets and stuff like that.
Right.
So it all starts there, and we gotta watch out for these groups, because it's gonna be many more groups like Black Lives Matter pop up. Like yesterday was Black Lives Matter. Next thing is gonna be Black something something coming up. Black this something. It's gonna be another government funded left wing type funded group just gonna sprout up. Black Lives Matter was the popular thing back then, but that was like, it wasn't even that long ago. So it's gonna be a new one coming up. When the election come up, it's gonna be a new one. It's gonna be something new that's gonna pop up, and it's that same playbook. Hey, we got to get out and vote. They're gonna get some rappers. They're gonna get people saying, hey, we need you. This person is running this big bad Republican. Blase, we can't let them win, because then they gonna start hanging y'all niggas again. And they just gonna use fear again. They just gonna use fear again. So, but I can't blame them. It's been working. Like that last election, it worked. Like, you in Georgia, you saw how it worked.
Right.
We need to hold people like Stacey Abrams to task. Like, she the one put Biden in office single-handedly. And she know how to organize. She know how to get the masses of the people out in the state of Georgia. So somebody like her, we need to be putting her to task. Like, look, you put Biden in office. Like, we can really say you put Biden in office. If we can point to her and say you put Biden in office. okay, so we looking at you as like, ma'am, he's not doing these things. Either you need to make a call to his administration, or we're gonna have some problems with you because you don't want to let us to vote for him, and you don't want to have the power to take the votes from him too. So you have the power. Like, we need Stacey to be reaching out to Biden and say, hey, you know, I delivered you the championship. Now you're not doing anything for us. So what's the deal with that? So we really need to be talking to Stacey. We need all the people that's in Georgia emailing, calling her, like, what the hell is going on with your boy Joe?
Right.
What's good? What's really good? So it got to start with some accountability on our part. Like, we just can't sit back and say Joe ain't doing nothing. We need to be hitting Stacey up like, ma'am, ma'am, you supposed to be that direct link to Joe because you delivered him the championship. So what's good? Like, we need some shit getting taken care of. Or if not, then we need to start. If Joe ain't willing to do it, then tell your buddy Joe that we won't be back for him. We won't be voting for him coming back around.
Right.
I think it's that simple. Maybe I'm naive. And I can't be naive, but I feel like that's a good start.
Right. They tell us to write to the politicians all the time if we being honest and everything, writing to your people. So I
Yeah.
agree with that.
And that may be a
One
good.
thing we don't do is that we really don't, even though we don't demand and everything. Like you said, we changed the whole state blue, but did we demand that while changing that state blue, that policies that benefited the people who helped change that state blue really got heard and everything,
It'd be that soft demand, like, hey,
yeah.
can you, what about maybe you do this,
I think we're used to doing a soft demand. If we just being, as far as the overall, of course, we all, there's going to always be that small population that is a demand, period. But as an overall general, with the majority, we're soft demand and everything.
And I think, I guess because you in Georgia, I think this would be a great idea, maybe in Georgia, like maybe get a group of people and start a campaign of just reaching out to Stacey, like getting as many people as you can to email, call, and ask her, like, why Joe Biden is not doing this and we voted for him. Like, maybe that can be, like, maybe what we're talking about could be part of the plan of action, like just in the state of Georgia, just reaching out to the local community and say, hey, would you be willing to email, call, write a letter, whatever it may be, to Stacey, asking her the tough questions about what is going on with the Biden administration. This, that, and the third is not getting done. And if this continues to go on, then I won't be participating and voting Democrat in the next election. I think if we can get enough people to do that, I think it'll help slightly,
right.
A little bit, And if it don't, if like they say you get like, I'm just gonna throw a low. I think it don't take many people. I think if you get 1,000 or 2,000 people to do that, that would get the ear a little bit. And then if it don't, that just means the motherfuckers just don't care. Not Stacey, but the administration, which I feel like that's what it is. They just don't care because they just already got in their mind they're going to replace the black votes. But that's just going back to our accountability, at least on the local level, letting Stacey know what's good with the people in the streets.
Yeah. I agree with you.
So that's just the idea. I think we before I go, I think we probably touched on this though. Yeah, we touched on everything. I didn't think we'll go this long, but I think we hit on everything though. Unless you have some more questions.
I think we talked about. I think we did.
Yeah, I think we did too. I think we hit all everything. Because it's interesting. We're gonna have to it's gonna be interesting to see what happened at the end of November. Like I feel like me, you, and people in our circle, we kind of know that the administration don't care about us, but more I think other black people that's just working their 9 to 5, going home, may watch the news every now and then, really not like into things like we are. They about to be shocked. Like,
and we have to remember too, because I say it every election year, it's only you only gonna have people's attention what 16, 18 months. The
yeah,
whole you don't have it the whole 4 years. That's why overall, probably Trump was probably one that we kept all 4 years because of what he was saying as far as outwardly so much. So you staying relevant enough for us like to always be able. But I really think that people go politically silent, and that's a real thing.
yeah.
Like, I have complained about the infrastructure bill for so long on my Facebook. I have complained about Biden so long on my Facebook. But right now, it's not election year. But I guarantee you, when election year rolls around, as soon as I put up a status and I say, I'm not voting for Biden,
Oh, they come and attack you.
watch how many people, because that's relevant right now. That's why I say it sucks, because the culture we're in, and but that political culture has been around as far as like forever, just to be honest. Like, we know you got 16 to 18 months, like right before, like when we figuring out who's gonna run, that year of that, and then a little bit afterward. And in this time right now, we're dying down on the attention of it, because people don't even talk about where your VP at. We don't know.
Even when I post stuff about that, people don't even comment now.
Thank
I'm
you.
like, man, they
And I
don't
promise you,
care.
I want a shirt that says, "Where is my VP? Where you at, girl?"
But real talk, where is she though? Like,
I'm so see. I'm. What Future say? I'm looking for, baby.
I'm really being serious. Like, she really really in the hideout somewhere. I don't see it.
But watch, when election year roll around, it's gonna be like clockwork, because that's relevant. That's the clickbait. It's get the comments, to get the likes, to get the shares. But right now, don't nobody care about. You know what I'm saying?
You think it's realistic that we can get a third party going? Like a party that's actually for black people?
I think we can, but in those things, I'm always thinking you got to always have years in advance, like goal. You can't sell yourself short with like 1-2 years.
Yeah.
Like, if you're talking about that, we got to go ahead and say it's going to take 5 years to build like the stand that we need. Not saying you can't get it within before the 5 years, but you got to give yourself a real goal of 5 years for us to get where we need to be, and everything, to recruit the people we need to recruit, to educate them, to be on the same accord, and everything, not to rush it, so that you're making sure that people feel it, because you really need to, like I said, in today's time, you need to grasp people's attention longer than the average.
Yeah.
So for the coalition to stick, it would have to be something like, I feel it's ingrained. Just like people, you already know we're voting Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat. You got a couple of independents, but overall history, our history book's gonna tell us what? Republican and Democrat.
But you know what? I just thought about something you said, that it's another route to go too. You remember when the Tea Party came?
Yeah.
So the Tea Party came. Basically, the Republican Party turned into the Tea Party.
Right.
So maybe that may be the blueprint. Right. We just need to create a faction, a group of people that have this ideology, and then take over the Democratic Party like the Tea Party took over the Republican Party. That's basically what happened. The old Republican Party of first Bush, and even the second Bush, that those type of people that was in those administration that was running the party are not running the party no more. The Tea Party group came through and took over the Republican Party, because when the Tea Party came, they had a plan, they had an agenda. They was like, look, we not voting Republican no more because y'all not sticking with the Republican values anymore. So we got this Tea Party thing going on, and they were suffering. The Republican Party was suffering because people were starting to branch out to the Tea Party, because they had per se true conservative values at the time, and the Republican Party basically changed their way of thinking to how the Tea Party was thinking. So maybe it can be something like that, something along those lines where you have people that's tired of the Democratic Party and say, hey, we not fucking with y'all no more. We over here doing this thing and we trying to organize over here. We the X type of party, whatever the name may be, to force the Democrat Party to or whatever party change, and then that is just another way to infiltrate the Democrat Party and change their whole way of thinking, and putting the people with a different type of ideology in those key spots, in national government and state and local level too. So that could be a solution right there. But I think it all starts from a withdrawal. Enough people taking their votes back. I think that's the starting point right there. And then from there, once we take our votes back, we gotta come back. Like they gonna be coming back like, okay, what do you want? We gotta come back with like not with some bullet points of like, this is what we want. Like basically what our Ice Cube was doing. We want this, that, and the third, So
right.
I think there's a good starting point, We gotta stop being afraid of hurting people feeling like our people are so nice. They don't want to hurt nobody's feelings.
And that's why I also feel like if we're saying to do that and to withhold our vote, so withhold it from a major election, for example, say the next upcoming presidential election, preparing for the elections coming after that and a small local all the way up to the next presidential, like you could shift that and everything. So if we're saying we can shift that, then I think constructively too, while we are doing it with our vote, that we need to collectively really start taking advantage of the things that are getting passed that might not benefit us as a group ourselves alone, but we can take advantage of them and everything. Like we need to also start, even if we're saying, oh, I'm not gonna vote, we're still, like I said, we're still Americans, so we like still take advantage of the shit that is out there while we're withholding that. So we still have power and we're still growing financially with that power too.
Yeah.
And everything. Even I was looking at the 1.85 trillion, and I know we said we were gonna get off, but I was just
keep going. No, I ain't in no rush.
I was looking like all the different things that are about to get passed, like potentially, like where 400 billion is going, 500 million, a billion is going, or whatever.
Wow.
And it's like, if we could tap into those damn markets, honestly, while, like I said, we're still building this coalition, but we're still working at the same time to make sure we're taking advantage of the shit on the table.
Well, we're gonna have to tap into those things regardless anyway, because the market is changing. Like so many jobs are about to go away. I know like people that of course there's a lot of people hiring now, but a lot of jobs are going away. A lot of stuff is going automation now. So if you're not getting a certain type of skill, like your job in the next 3 years is gonna be gone because of automation. Like you can't even. They got people. They don't even have people taking orders at McDonald's no more. They got a kiosk now.
That's so true.
That's the Walmart up the street don't even have cashiers no more.
That's why I said but you really got to tap into those. Like we got to start truly tapping into those markets. While we're willing to withhold our voice, that shouldn't mean that we withhold the resources that we can take advantage of. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like. One of the examples in the budget, like you talking about 555 to fight climate change. So imagine our coalition, like that being a part of it, so that we could take it, take the benefits in the event. Like you got to start really using the resources and stuff on top of saying my voice. Like you don't get to have my voice, but you don't get to have my pockets either.
Nah. Can't have both, man.
So that's what I'm saying. But if you present it that way, like by the time like we start building this now with the coalition, and by the time the next election, it's like, oh, y'all think we worried because y'all, we don't vote or whatever. We still gonna take advantage of what we got to take advantage of. We still gonna get the benefit. because people have not been voting forever. So you don't lose your benefits as an American because you don't vote.
Exactly.
So in that time, we got to be knowing like we got to make an agreement as a coalition. Like we're not taking off on that measure. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, not gonna vote these next couple of elections, but what are we gonna constructively do to make sure that we're still benefiting off the other shit that's out there that we can benefit from and everything.
Exactly. And that's the purpose. Like, just don't vote and not just sit around. Like, when you take your vote, you gotta be organizing in the background, like okay, strategizing. Like, what do I want? Like, why I'm not voting? Like, you just can't say, hey, I'm not voting because I'm not voting. You gotta have a strategy to why you're not voting, because at the end of the day, you're doing it because you want to go back to the table later with a demand.
Right. But
So
people think, as soon as you say, "Oh, I'm not voting," they cut you off right there. But
yeah,
I think if we're talking about building this coalition, with that being, we need to still have, well, this is what we plan to do while we're not voting. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
We got this a part of the coalition. We're part of the climate change. We're part of housing opportunities because, they're trying to put money for affordable housing. If we don't, we are upset with the housing. I think we all can agree in most affordable housing, we're disappointed when it comes to our areas.
mm-hmm.
So we need to start figuring out how we can be in charge and have the right people, not just in charge because you Black, but you got to really
Of course.
uphold. You know what I'm saying? Like we're going to be checking and everything to make sure that you're upholding these standards. Because I think that's major too. While we're also fighting our fight and everything and trying to get everything else done and have our independence that we're trying to gain. And so, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's basically about organizing. Like you said, you basically saying just organize. Even though we withholding our vote, we're gonna be organizing in the background. We putting different groups of people together to organize for certain benefits that'll benefit us as a group on the local or state or national level. So that all makes sense. Like those people that we say, hey, don't vote, but this is our alternative. This is what we doing over here. This is how we organize and like how we going back to the table, because this is what we want. We want you to be part of this. So when we go back to the table, we can have your support to vote for this person, because this person said they're gonna do this and that and the third for us when we go back to the table. So
and because people always feel like voting is, it's ingrained in our DNA. Like if you don't vote, what's our favorite thing? You don't vote, you can't say nothing.
yeah, vote or die.
We need to, you know what I'm saying? But I think that with doing this coalition, I think that's a great idea. I think the focal point should be how, even with not voting, like you still can go out there and do the shit you need. Like we can still get shit done. You know what I'm saying? That way to really show people too, like our voting matters to demand and to truly demand what we want to get done. But we're still gonna get our shit done because we're all agreeing now that we voting, but
and withholding the vote get shit done. As you can see, like even when Q went to Trump, Trump saw the value in the Black vote. The Democrats know the value in the Black vote, but they obviously know. But the other side know too. And the Trump was willing to listen. Whatever you think about him, he did. He was willing to listen to Q because he know the value of the Black vote. Now we know he don't care about Black folks either. But regardless of how somebody like you or not, just give me what I want. I don't want you to like me. Shit, we ain't gotta be friends for you to give me shit. Yeah, at the end of the day, neither side is our friend. So we gotta play both sides anyway. So play them against each other to get the benefit of us. We don't care about their feelings. Who can help us? Who want to be our friend? Who comes? The highest bidder wins.
Yeah.
That's how it works. The highest bidder wins.
Yeah.
And then we take those winnings they give us, and we building our people up to ultimately to get the goal that we want to get. Because our goal don't have to do nothing with the Democrat, Republican, or any other party. It's just all about us at the end of the day. Whoever can help us get there. We just gotta get more people on board with that type of thinking and stop having these allegiance to Republican. You got your black conservative Republicans that
Right.
is they feel like they belong to the Republican Party, and because we forget about, there's a lot of black conservatives that vote Republican, and they die hard loyal to the Republican Party. So
Mhm.
it's on both sides. So
Yeah.
we just got to get out that mindset of being loyal to anybody. The only thing we need to be
Right.
loyal to is the people, our people, and our collective group. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, like even the LGBT, the alphabet community, they,
The LGBTQ.
yeah, I don't even want to say it because sometimes they
Oh,
trip
I'm
you
sorry.
on YouTube.
I'm
I
sorry.
just say the alphabet people, but I don't. I get where they're coming from, but at the end of the day, I feel like you should be black first. Like I love the champion man issues, but it need to be, it's all about the collective first. You know, I put the group first over what I feel about men and women issues. It's all about the group first,
So you know, I put
first
the
and foremost.
structure
It ain't
first.
about my sexual
You know, I'm
orientation,
always about my.
huh?
I'm all about my positive structure.
Yeah,
I'm
you all
always
come through with the positivity, man. I be trying to stay on that. I be trying to go the other route.
always, always.
but but in true, I'm actually, probably when I'm not on social media, I'm more like you. So, but I think it's all about the group first, and that's why I be getting so frustrated with those groups. I'm like, you putting your sexual orientation before the overall black group first, you know. And that's my biggest issue, but that's a whole nother topic within itself, though. But I think we hit on a lot of good points tonight. You know, we ended up
Yeah.
going an hour though. You
I
notice.
mean, look at you being right. Look at that.
I told you the time go by fast.
Look at
But
being right. I gave that one.
yeah,
See?
but before we get out of here, I know it's late. You in Atlanta, so it's what going on about 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we go, hey, if you're watching, I don't know what time y'all watching, but regardless, just remember to like, subscribe, and share. Like I said, we're trying to grow the channel. We're gonna keep
Yeah.
bringing you some good topics like this. So hey, do that for us. We need that, and we out of here. Y'all have a good
Oh
night.
yeah. Y'all have a great night.
All right, peace.